Yo, what is going on, guys? It's Lunar, back with a bit of a different video here today. This isn't exactly gaming related, but for those of you who don't know, your boy is a big fan of Logic the rapper. I'm not going to get into like who that is and stuff, because I'm sure you wouldn't be here if you didn't already know who Logic was. We could talk about how good he is and all the cool nerd stuff he's into all day, but that's not the point of this video. It was getting late around here last night, and I was literally just about to fall asleep on the couch when I stumbled across a post from Logic that caught my attention. The post was a link to a website with no context other than the site's front page picture that simply said Babel. Once I got into things and started to dig around, I quickly realized that this was basically a whole little ARG he created. The site's extremely simple, but it's actually a whole little virtual maze that you can get lost in pretty quickly. So what's the point of all this? What sort of Easter eggs are on the website? And what's at the end? I was literally just about to slip off into sweet slumber, but after messing around on this site for like a minute, I was completely wired. I mean, I knew I had to see what was going on. Some of you diehard fans out there have probably already worked your way through this, and that's great and all, but this video today is for those of you who haven't quite figured it out, or maybe you didn't even know this was a thing at all. For those people, today we'll do a complete deep dive of the website and unravel the puzzle together. So sit back, relax, grab some popcorn, and step into the world of ATM301.com. So right off the bat, this website's title is already a bit of an Easter egg that we'll get into a bit more later down the road. When you first log on, you're greeted simply by a file labeled 1 and the word Babel. Also in the bottom right hand corner, there's an actual time and date, except the year has been changed to 2115. For those of you who don't know, this is the year that the incredible true story is set in, which is important for later. Clicking on the file brings you to a set of 3 other files, and these all lead to 3 more. So on and so forth. The numbers start getting confusing really quick. I found myself getting lost and circling back to the same spot quite often. For starters, I think it's important to just go over how I got to the end, and then we can work our way through the files together. I'll show all my notes I took up on screen, but my handwriting really ain't the best, so I'll be going over it all a bit better and showing like the bigger stuff on screen. I thought about just going through the whole pyramid thing, but quickly realized that I just wouldn't have the room on the paper for all that. So we quickly switched over to just writing down every single file number and what was inside of it. This started to show a bit of a pattern really quick. I'm going to try my best to explain on screen what I'm talking about, but the file numbers just keep continuing through each file. So file 1, as you can see, leads to 2, 3, 4, and then file 2 leads to 5, 6, 7, so on and so forth. This pattern doesn't continue the entire way through though. Some files are left completely blank and others are dead ends that lead to Easter eggs. In total, there's 85 files to make your way through. Since most of them are just left blank or pathways to other files, we're just going to start at the top and go over every Easter egg you can find from 1 to 85. So with all that explaining out of the way, let's just get right into it. For starters, I mean, as you already saw, 1 and 2 are already just pathways. But in file 3 here, we have a 47-second clip that's titled with just a bunch of question marks.
Logic's favorite Quentin Tarantino movie is...
Most of the time is just filled with radio static, but at the end we hear a woman say, Logic's favorite Tarantino movie is, before being cut off by more radio static. At first listen, this vaguely sounds like Thalia, but after a few more listens, I'm pretty confident that this is the same reporter from the song Metropolis off his first studio album Under Pressure. At the end of Metropolis, there's a scene in the song where Logic is on a train with a reporter, and she asks him what his favorite Quentin Tarantino movie is. And it's alluded that he tells her what it is, but the song starts back up before we ever get an answer. The two women might not be the same, but this is certainly a callback to that conversation. And I think the question marks for the title kind of play into it being like a mystery or question that he's like got running. In file 5, we have a picture labeled 2008, where I can only imagine it's 2008, and that's young Bobby over there spitting some fire beats into that cardboard box of a monitor. In file 7, we have another picture labeled 2013, where I can also only imagine that it's 2013, and here Sir Bobby is probably on a tour somewhere. It looks like he's got all his fellas and stuff there, like probably hanging out in a hotel or something, so yeah, like I'm guessing they're on the road, still out here perfecting his craft, you know, love to see it. In file 9, we have a picture labeled A Good Laugh with 6 and somebody that's not Bobby just joshing it up on the couch, having a great time, you know, love to see it. In file 11, we have a 15-second clip titled, I'm not even gonna say that, but it's actually Thalia spelled backwards.
You niggas questioning if I can even say nigga. DJ Drama.
The clip is a remixed version of Fade Away, with DJ Drama shouting some stuff and using the original beat as a sample to create a new beat. The DJ Drama stuff is cool and all, but what's really interesting is the callback to Thalia here with Fade Away. Fade Away is a song from Logic's first real concept album, The Incredible True Story, and at the end there's a cutscene with Thomas, Kai, and Thalia. This is where Thalia first becomes sentient and starts interacting with the crew. Not much goes on in the scene other than Kai asking her to sound like Big Sean, but it's important to note that this is basically where she's like born into the story. And this is also ATM301.com's first reference to The Incredible True Story, which is important for later. In file 12, we have another clip that's 31 seconds long labeled Babel's Mainframe.
This little ass ship, thinking it's just us out here, out here, freaking me out. Oh.
Take a minute and think about what you're doing and why you're doing it, why you're pursuing it. Is you really happy? I've been
When I'm back again, I'm rapping in the microphone.
Thinking it's just us out here in space? It's kind of
freaking me out.
How many times
have you done this, Captain?
Me?
Me?
In this clip, we hear Kai complaining about being in a tiny ship all alone out in space. Thomas is also with him, but most of the rest of the convo is distorted by heavy remixing and auto-tuning. What's mainly important here is that this isn't a scene that's from The Incredible True Story, but the date on the website and other clues are indicating that this takes place in the same year. For those of you who don't remember, at the end of The Incredible True Story, Kai and Thomas made it to paradise and the album ends with them stepping out onto the planet. So I'm a bit confused where this snippet takes place. If I had to guess, I'd say it's probably around the time of Incredible True Story while they were like still on their way to paradise, and this is just an added layer to the story. Also in the clip, the convo is interrupted by a short snippet of Logic rapping, which I can only guess is like a sneak peek at a new song on the horizon. Moving on to file 15, we have another picture titled Background Pic, and I'm not even gonna front, I can't tell who either of these gentlemen are, but they in that stew cooking up, just know that. In file 19, we have another picture titled Bob, with old Bobby Boy chilling on the couch with the homie, just, you know, taking it all in. File 22, we have another track titled That Right There, which is Stillmatic on 6 track backwards, or track 6 on Stillmatic, you know what I'm saying, whichever you prefer.
Bust up.
This is a 1 and 2 second clip that's filled with a decent amount of radio static, but it also has a snippet of Logic rapping over a beat in reverse. Not like he's rapping in reverse, but it's been reverse, you know what I'm saying? If we just hit it with that Uno reverse card again real quick, then we can hear
All the time.
Bobby Boy's out here saying all the time. You know what I'm saying? That's definitely like a little part of a song coming up. I don't think there's really much secret significance to this other than the fact that this beat was from a little snippet that Logic shared on Instagram like all the way back in 2017. So he's just been sitting on this bad boy for a while. In file 25, we have a transcript of a conversation between Thomas and Chief Officer Evelyn of the Babel space station. on November 15th, 2115, 2 days after the events of Incredible True Story. In the convo, it's actually revealed that Thomas was actually Evelyn's superior at one point, but now she is interviewing him about an incident that occurred on the planet Paradise shortly after Thomas and Kai arrived. If you'd like to read the whole thing for yourself, feel free to pause the video, but we'll be talking about this a little bit later too. In file 27, we have a picture titled Crew with Logic's homies at a house party. You know what I'm saying? That's nice. In file 29, we have a picture titled Gotcha with Logic's wife Brittany holding up an old disposable camera at Bob's studio setup. Probably, you know what I'm saying, they're probably cooking up some beats. In file 32, we have a picture titled Granddad, which I can only guess is Bobby Boy's grandpa from his father's side. In file 35, we have a picture titled Homies with Homies. In file 40, we have a 21-second clip titled I Can't Believe I Used to Feel This Way.
I want you. I want you to
In this clip, it's Logic saying, I want you to love me, but it's been heavily remixed. I'm guessing this is also another sneak peek at a song off the new album, but he didn't want us to get like the whole experience just yet, you know what I'm saying? In file 42, we get a picture titled, I Can't Believe We Finally Did It, with Bobby Boy at the same setup as Brittany from file 29, and my man is straight up cheesing. In file 46, we have a picture titled In Another World with Logic playing with an Oculus headset. This is obviously just a riff on Logic being in like the virtual reality world with the headset. In file 49, we have a picture titled Incognito. In the bottom left, this tells us it's Bobby's dad, probably like an old picture of him when he was out there doing some band stuff, you know what I'm saying? In file 45, we have a 35-second clip titled Enran's Disciple.
I can smell their flesh from here. The planet Death welcomes their souls.
This is another mostly radio static clip, but at the end we hear a menacing voice say, I can smell their flesh from here. The planet Death welcomes their souls. Now this is where we get into a bit of conspiracy theorizing here. I have two options for this, but they're both kind of similar. My first guess here is that this is an entirely different planet in the story that Thomas and Kai ended up on or will end up on later. And my second guess is that everybody thought the planet Paradise was going to be this great utopia, but come to find out it's actually called Planet Death, and some bad stuff went down there when Thomas and Kai arrived. I feel like I'm more leaning towards the second option here because we already learned from the convo in file 25 that something happened on Paradise when they got there, but it's definitely really creepy. And I think Enran might be the name of that dude that's talking in the clip. I don't know. Maybe he is Enran's disciple? Who knows? This is starting to get crazy now. That's all I do know. Next in file 55, we have a picture titled Inspiration for Chess Scene, with Bobby and a homie playing some chess out on a porch somewhere. How are we gonna go from take their souls to fun chess games? What's going on here? In file 59, we have a clip titled It's Actually Been in the Back of My Mind Forever. What's releasing new music without a little theater? In this clip, we get another little preview of an unreleased Logic track. But what I found mostly intriguing about this file was the name, because that's exactly what all this is right now. I mean, this whole little rabbit hole of the sneak peeks and photos, like this whole website, it's just a little theater to hype up a new project he's working on. Wink, wink. In file 63, we have a picture titled Little Little Bobby, with Bobby as a youngin' and someone who I am guessing is a relative of his. Not really much to go off with this picture, but one thing is for sure. That little dude used to bite some people big time. In file 66, we have a 15-second clip titled Mission Control to Bridge.
We're tracking you now. There we got the Aquarius 3 here in
The clip starts with Logic saying "now," which was sampled from Game 6 by Halfbreed. After that, we hear Mission Control responding to Thomas saying he's all clear. I'm guessing in the story here, Thomas is trying to land at the Babel station after leaving Paradise. I mean, I don't know like why he'd be talking to somebody getting an all clear. I don't think it'd be to take off. Where's he going? In file 68, we have a picture titled Moog In, which I honestly have no idea what that means. Only notable thing I can point out from here is that Homie is wearing a College Park tour t-shirt, so this couldn't have been taken long ago at all. Definitely sometime within the past few months. In file 71, we have a picture titled Nice One, with 6 and someone just staring off into the distance like, nice. In file 74, we have a picture titled Smile, with 6 just cheesing. Probably because they're out there just making some fire beats, you know what I'm saying? In file 79, we have a picture titled They Finally Know My Favorite One, which might be in reference to his favorite Quentin Tarantino movie. Someone else is in the picture out of frame, so maybe it was something like they were talking about it and Logic told them the one and got it on picture. I don't know. File 80, we have a picture titled Unexpected Turn, with Bobby hitting a rather uncomfy pose at the camera. It's also worth mentioning that this is the last picture in the maze. After going through all the pictures together, I feel like most of them, besides the old throwback pics, are from the same night based off the people that are there and the clothes they're wearing. This must have been the night they were working on the upcoming album or like finished the project, you know what I'm saying? In file 83, we have a 44-second clip titled What's the Outcome?
Now it's scared for years to try to do this album. Now it's scared for years to try to do this album. For years. How you follow up a classic? What's the outcome? How you follow up a classic? What's the outcome? Failure and tragedy. Everybody's mad at me cause I ain't making carbon. Everybody's mad at me cause I ain't making carbon. Carbon copy. Carbon copy on my last shit. Carbon copy on my last shit.
And in this clip, it just sounds like an echo of some of the insecurities Logic has faced and talks about going through on his albums. Something he's voiced in the past is people always wanting him to make music like his old stuff, and that's a common criticism for a lot of artists. In file 84, we have a picture of a script titled What's the Point? And this is where the dots really start to connect with the whole story. In this script, we have Thomas, Kai, Roslyn, and ATM 301. So we know who Thomas and Kai are since they're the main characters of Incredible True Story, but we have no idea who Roslyn and ATM 301 are. Roslyn will just have to stay a mystery, I guess. I don't really have much to go off with her since she only says 2 words, but ATM 301 I have some speculations about. First, I just wanted to talk about the name ATM 301 really quick because I'm sure he put a good bit of thought into making this up. I think ATM 301 is a callback to HAL 9000 from 2001: A Space Odyssey, except this is obviously Logic's version of that. I also believe ATM is short for Atom, which is in reference to the Atom character from the Everybody album, and the 301 is just in reference to, of course, you know, the Maryland area code and how much he uses it in other names such as Logic 301. Enough about the name though. I also think that in this script here, the character ATM 301 might be Thalia. If you think about it, Thalia is just an advanced computer, and the computer wouldn't have a name like Thalia. It would be something advanced like HAL 9000 or ATM 301. And Thalia is the only AI person like this that we've known to be with Thomas and Kai. The only thing that's making me feel like it's not Thalia is the fact that it's a script page and she's not specifically named as Thalia. Sheesh, take a drink every time I say that. Alright, I'm sorry. That was a fat tangent, but I just had to get that all out. Let's just get into the real meat and potatoes of this thing. So from the script, we can tell that Thomas, Kai, ATM 301, and Roslyn are being attacked by unknown individuals, and Kai is unfortunately shot and killed. We don't really know how these characters got here or how they got out of this, but this is a major piece of this whole puzzle we've been figuring out. This incident right here is what Thomas and Evelyn were talking about that happened on Planet Paradise back in file 25. For whatever reason, Planet Paradise wasn't very peaceful and Kai ended up dying. This explains why he's not present for the interview and why Thomas seems a bit disgruntled in the meeting. This is also why I feel like the Inran's disciple clip is from Thomas and Kai landing on Planet Paradise. I think this is the leader of the people who attacked them upon arrival. This all probably sounds absolutely insane, okay? I probably sound like a complete crazy person right now, but I'm telling you, now that you got the full picture, I encourage you to go back and read through the interview on file 25, or go back and listen to some of the clips from before. You might have a whole different perspective on what's going on. That was a lot of lore stuff at one time, but for those of you keeping track around here, that was only file 84 out of 85. Once you make it to the 85th file, you are finally at the end of the adventure. As soon as you try opening up, the file is password protected. Before we spill the beans, it's worth noting that a failed attempt brings up this handsome little fellow, waving his finger, saying you didn't get it. Now, 85th file? Sneak peeking new music? This one was honestly pretty easy. It took me 2 attempts because I tried ATM 301 first, but the password to the file is Ultra 85. When you enter Ultra 85, you're greeted with this gem. Now, ain't that some shit? I mean, just wow. Ultra 85, everybody, it is finally here. For most of you diehard fans, you know this album has been rumored for ages now, and it's finally coming to fruition. And from everything that we've gathered from this website, it's sounding like a direct sequel to Incredible True Story, which is insane. That's honestly my all-time favorite Logic album, and I couldn't be any more excited. There isn't an exact release date yet, but he's dropping a single from the album February 2nd, 2024. So just to recap everything that we've learned here, all this stuff is just building onto the story of an Incredible True Story and continuing it in Ultra 85. So Kai's dead, I guess, maybe. I mean, we didn't see him die, you know what I'm saying? That's one of those things where if you didn't see it happen, it didn't happen. So maybe he just comes back to life out of nowhere. Who knows? Incredible True Story was an insane concept album, and he is already going even more over the top with this one. So this is going to be great. I'm excited to see what happens. But that's about it from ATM301.com. This whole website was just a little theater before releasing music, and it was awesome. I haven't had this sort of interconnected feeling with an album since Childish Gambino's 2013 album Because the Internet. For those of you who don't know, that album had a whole website, script, screenplay, and so much more that was all interconnected with the story the album was portraying. I think he's taking from Donald Glover's book here and doesn't want to just drop an album, but instead wants to make an experience that people can live in for years to come, which is truly special. I mean, these guys are true Renaissance men. The things they come up with are absolutely insane. I gotta stop myself now or I'm just gonna be going all night, honestly. I mean, what an experience. I know this is a bit different from the normal content, but this was just too crazy to pass up. I mean, this really got my brain moving, and I just had to share this for anybody that didn't know this was a thing, because it was really cool. I'll leave a link to the site in the description if anyone wants to go check it out for themselves. Also, I've been trying to work on a review for Palworld, but I pushed it back to get this out, so that'll probably be out this weekend. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more content like this. This has been Lunar, and welcome to Bound.